Commission liaison reports and comments. Commissioner Meyer, do you start us off?
Certainly, thank you. This past Friday, I attended the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council monthly meeting. The major portion of that meeting was regarding the Delray Linton Groves project. It's a major development project out west near Royal Palm. It is in close proximity to a project called the Avenir and another one called Westlake. Many commissioners commented that upon the approval of Avenir and Westlake, that they knew that the infrastructure did not exist for the population that these projects were going to bring. Still, those infrastructure improvements haven't come, but then comes along this Delray Linton Groves project, which is a huge development. Will bring like 15,000 new residents to the area. So it was the first time since attending these board meetings that I've ever heard them disapprove a development project. But unanimously, apart from one, I'm not sure what the term is for that, but there are about 30 commissioners on the board, and everybody but one approved or voted to disapprove this project. It still may happen. It was already approved by the Palm Beach County Commission. But I think that we should take a look at development processes, not only here in Lake Worth, but countywide. I think that they believed that developers would bring their own infrastructure with them, and that's not necessarily happening. And before we move forward with bigger development, which is definitely coming, Palm Beach County is definitely earmarked to expand. And before that happens, we need to make sure that the necessary resources are going to be there for those residents, and to make sure that they are not taking valuable resources from the residents who are already here. And lastly, the Sister City Board met yesterday, but again did not have a quorum, so I'm not sure exactly what will happen to that board, but it's been several meetings without a quorum. So that's all for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Marshall?
Okay, I'm going to try to be quick, but we only have one meeting in December and I've been busy. First of all, I want to thank staff and PBSO for all their hard work for the last year, and wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. I attended the Sober Home Task Force, also the Heroin Task Force, National League of Cities in Pittsburgh, where I became the president of the Gay and Lesbian Advocacy Group for the National League of Cities. Thank you. I attended the BDB. If you remember, I was appointed by Commissioner Priscilla Taylor to the BDB, and I got a call today from our new commissioner, Dave Kerner, and I've been reappointed to Palm Beach County's BDB, so I'm very happy to represent Lake Worth on the BDB. I attended the tree lighting, and if you didn't see me, it was because I was Santa Claus.
Any kids listening at home?
Exactly.
He was just helping out.
I was just helping out. And then the Bridges at Highlands found out I was Santa Claus, and I was happy to play Santa Claus on Saturday at Bridges at Highlands. I attended the Tri-County Barbecue out in Belle Glade to support our friends in Glades. I did a fly-in last week into Washington with the Victory Fund and also the National League of Cities to try to work on some issues with the new president-elect. If you're aware, the president-elect will make his agenda within the first 100 days of his election, or his swearing in. So we're just trying to work on and making sure that we're at the table, and that everything that Lake Worth has as far as grants and things that we already received, that we actually hold on to. The Garlic Festival is coming to town, so look for that. Their flyers are out, and they're looking for the local merchants to participate. Evening on the Avenue is every Friday now, and we're happy to have local bands and a lot of local vendors, especially for the holidays, so come downtown, do your shopping local, shop in your own backyard. Street Painting Festival is coming up. They've got their artist literature out, if you want to be an artist for street painting. So mark your calendars, that's 25th and 26th of February. Moving on, CRA Annex. With the CRA and the local artists of the Annex, their upcoming event is already started. perspectives in fiber and moving beyond tradition. I haven't seen the show yet because I was out of town, but I heard it's a great, great show. So come out and join the CRA and the local artists there. Pirate Festival. We're working on Pirate Festival. First time ever Lake Worth will have a Pirate Festival. We're looking for volunteers and helpers with that. So Mr. Maxwell will look for you to come out and help with that event. Holiday Parade is Saturday. This year's parade theme is the Grinch. So get your favorite Grinch on. 6 o'clock is the parade. During the day, we always work with sponsorship with Kiwanis. And the Kiwanis comes out and does a great event during the day for the kids. And then we will be there giving away bikes with our lovely mayor. At 4 o'clock, the bike giveaway starts. If you'd still like to donate a bike, we'll be happy to take it, or cash donations towards the bike. We have more bikes this year. I think we're up to about 80. And Siemens just called today and said they'd donate a couple more. So if anybody'd like to donate bikes, we always, unfortunately, have more kids looking for bikes than we actually get. And it's, I know it's the Vice Mayor's mission in life to actually have more bikes than we get kids. So please help us there. What else did I forget? The new Cottage book is out. If you haven't had a chance to see it, they actually did their launch, and they actually have the Cottage Home Tour, January 29th, and tickets always sell out. So please get that. Last but not least, I attended the Palm Beach County League of Cities board meeting, and then also the night market has started. We have a wonderful green market every Saturday at Old Bridge Park. There is a night market now, once a month. We had our first night market Wednesday, December 7th, and the next one is January 4th. So come out and join us for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner McBoyd?
Thank you. And thank you for the very positive presentations that we've had on a number of issues so far. Address a little bit different things. I attended for my second time the National League of Cities this recently, that Commissioner Amoroso, who not only was elected president but puts on twice a very good party.
Thank you.
You wind up meeting a lot of interesting folks from other cities, which is great. So thank you, Commissioner Amoroso, on that. When I went last year, I think I mentioned that I went to a session that was advertising a federal program that provides technical assistance to cities around the U.S. to help them with adoption of renewable energy, primarily a mix of larger projects, smaller projects, distributed on businesses, on homes. And so I attended again this year. There were a number of sessions on sustainability, renewable energy, how do we move forward in a changing world, and strengthen our cities. And I followed up with that. We recently, at our electric director's offices, we just yesterday had a web conference with folks in Washington on that to try and move us forward in providing the best opportunities possible for residents and businesses to adopt solar energy in our community. We will be applying for a grant program that provides 6 months of free technical assistance. What that means is that the federal program sends an employee, parks them down here, and if we win as one of the communities, they're sending 40 out into the U.S., we would get assistance in developing the various aspects, because there are a lot of details with solar power that the city gets involved in, with permitting, making sure it's safe for your neighbors and so on. And you can, if you do that sort of thing right, you lower the costs for the folks that are adopting it. You also make it more attractive for installers, and a number that was mentioned, I think it's over 200,000 jobs around the U.S. in just the solar industry, that portion of renewable. So it's a big deal. And it keeps the jobs local, which is also very good. The other area that I'd like to comment on a little bit, because it was something that there were a lot of sessions at the National League of Cities, and it's something that I definitely am hearing concerns from our community, from different parts of it. With the last election, as I think all of us are aware, the tenor of things around the country has changed substantially. The number of hate crimes has gone up a lot around the country. And whether you're Muslim, whether you're of Oriental background, people getting slurs, people getting physical attacks, basically a lot of different groups, I'm hearing directly or indirectly, are quite nervous. And I think one of the things that I took away from the National League of Cities conference, both this year and last year, is that cities have the opportunity to lead and to set certain tones within our city. And they might not necessarily be the same tone as happening elsewhere. We can choose. We are a city that is very strong in its commitment to diversity. We have been for a long time. It's something that we all value. As the climate changes some, and I don't mean my usual science climate changes, but as the social climate changes, I think it will be incumbent on us as leaders of our community, as a commission, to let people know where we are, that we may want people to feel safe. We want to welcome the diverse religions, ethnic backgrounds, languages, economic levels, and that we're serious about that, and that we will make sure that we put our money where our mouth is on it. So that'll be a priority for me. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you. A couple things real quick. First of all, on kind of a fun note, our mayor and city manager and myself had the great opportunity to participate, if you will, in the Delray Beach Christmas parade this past weekend. Was that Friday? Saturday. And actually we were on the Garlic Fest float. And we had our matching t-shirts with the ever popular Lake Worth logo on the front. And on the back, of course, it had a little message for Delray that said, Lake Worth, help me out here. Now making Delray Beach very nervous. So, you know, most folks really enjoyed that bit of humor, but some folks kind of took it a little.
The judges.
They have no sense of humor. They have absolutely no sense of humor. But it was a good time, and the weather was beautiful and was well attended, and you guys had way too much fun dancing to Jimmy Buffett's, what's the name of that song?
Yo ho ho.
Yo ho ho.
No comment. Move on. No.
All right. Wanted to touch just a little bit on PDSO's presentation, and more specifically, the 10 o'clock ordinance that speaks to the sale of alcohol. That ordinance is just one of a lot of little things that we've been trying to do here in the city over the last few years to try to get a handle on some of the knuckleheads out there that are not behaving like they should. And I think that what I've heard in attending the various neighborhood meetings is that it's really made a positive impact in the areas of, you know, obviously public drunkenness and littering, you know, assaults, robbery, sexual assaults, drunken driving. I guess there's a real drop in that issue. And also, something was brought up that I wasn't aware of, and that is there's a lot of hit and run things going on in town. Some of our streets are kind of narrow, and you got cars parked on both sides of the streets, and folks get a little bit tipsy, and they're ripping down these alphabet streets, ripping mirrors and stuff, and sideswiping cars. And there's been a drastic reduction in those type of things. So that's a very positive thing. And what I wanted to do is kind of throw out there for the commission and the administration that, you know, while everybody's concerned about crime, and in some areas it's getting better, some are very serious issues like the opiate issue and some of the unintended consequences of sober homes, group homes, whatever you want to call them. I think maybe it might be wise for us, after this first of the year, to have a workshop and have a very open and honest discussion about crime, what the root causes of crime are, and how we as a city are addressing it from the city's perspective, not necessarily from a law enforcement perspective, but what are we doing or what can we do to try to address some of the root causes of crime? Because we are turning a corner here in Lake Worth. You know, this is not the Lake Worth of old. Things are getting better, and I think it's time for us to have that adult conversation and see what we can do to kind of advance the ball, if you will, in a positive way to reduce some of the crime that's happening here in the city of Lake Worth, and I hope that I'll get the support of this commission, and we can have that open conversation, a workshop, invite the public in, and just really sit down and relax and have a conversation, and, you know, put our ideas on a board and see, you know, what we've been doing that we might maybe have overlooked, and see if there's some things we can do to fast forward and advance some of these efforts to curb some of the crime. Also, it hasn't been mentioned yet tonight, and I want to mention it because it's very dear to my heart. As you all know, for nearly 20 years, I've been pressing very hard and very passionately for us to address our infrastructure. And I'm so pleased that the public has finally allowed us, this commission, this city, to move forward and take a crack in improving our infrastructure in a very strong and powerful way. And I cannot tell you how thrilled I am. I could really get into it and get emotional, but I won't. But I want to tell everybody is that I see this opportunity is a real opportunity for the folks in Lake Worth to take a look at this administration and our local government and see that we can really get things done when we say we're going to do them. Here's an opportunity for us to show you that we can do exactly what we say we're going to do, and we're going to do it without drama, and we're going to do it without controversy or scandal. And here's an opportunity for us to reset, if you will, the goodwill that I'm sure existed at one time in this city's history. And I'm hoping that we could reset that clock and we could all move forward into a much brighter future. So again, thank you to everybody here in the city for entrusting us to move forward on the progress. I think that, you know, once we start turning some dirt, I think we're going to see a lot of more positive investment happen in our community. And again, my saying is, this is not the old Lake Worth. This is not your old Lake Worth. Things are changing, and I'm so happy to have been a small part of that. So with that said, the only last thing I have to say is, 'tis the season. Thank you, everybody, from staff. Thank you to the citizens of Lake Worth for a great year, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, for those of you who don't, the best of the holidays to you and a Happy New Year.
Speaking of infrastructure, today we had a ribbon cutting at 11th Avenue South and D Street. Was it D? Yeah.
D.
And this is one of the Greenway projects that we've been working on. We have now completed 5 of our Greenway projects, and when the Vice Mayor mentioned, I feel like I've been focused on infrastructure since I ever got here, and that's what we've been really looking at. It all started with this visioning session that we had back in I don't know, April of 2012. And it was about, you know, what are we going to do? Well, we had found $750,000 of CDBG grant funds that hadn't been spent. And what were we going to do with that money, and how were we going to do it? We've really focused on the south end of the city that qualifies for the CDBG grants. We've really focused all of those funds and every award that we've won on rebuilding the infrastructure in a section of our city that was ignored for a really long period of time. And when I went out with a camera back then in 2012 and took pictures of these unimproved rights of ways, basically dirt, alley, gravel, you know, there's a woman carrying her laundry across and kids playing in the dirt in this area, and you would have thought you were in another world, I mean, another country, another place. And now to see these going in, and I want to commend staff for coming in and working with the families that live in their homes in these neighborhoods that were in transition, you know, when we got the funding. Because some of those people, you know, they built their driveways that had access to these gravel roads, or the city worked with them to come up with solutions to do that. And then our utilities went in and fixed drainage issues and all kinds of other types of issues that were going on in the project. So on top of making it beautiful and restoring dignity and self-respect in the neighborhoods of our communities that hadn't gotten much love ever, if at all, to watch that happen to me just makes me so very excited, and it's a great thing for the city, and I'm so very proud of everybody that helped make it happen. And we're doing great things, so that was a beautiful thing. And when we show that we're good stewards on CDBG grant funds, to the Vice Mayor's comments earlier, we show them now that we can get the job done, right a lot of wrongs, and set this city on a great new pathway, and take care of our city and our infrastructure and our needs right now, so we never end up in the same situation again. On a lighter note, as I sit on the employer pension boards, I don't know if you guys know, I'm the chair of the employee pension board, and I'm also on the police pension board. And we fared okay, thank goodness. Got through the pension. Last couple of years, we always get in that nervous place in October when we go, uh-oh, and then the pensions all take a dive. We did okay. We held our own and we're up, so good news on that front, yay. Some fun things, solar field, do we have an updated date for when we're gonna have our ribbon cutting for our new solar field?
I was gonna say the end of January, February, I think it's in February now.
Okay.
We're trying to find a date that works with some of the dignitaries, but it'll be up and running by February.
Oh, we had some interesting things happen too. I don't know if you guys got to see the Grand Prix on the sea. We actually were all over Fox Sports News and whatever, nationally and internationally and online. They had the international jet ski Grand Prix right on Lake Worth Beach. And that was something, boy. They brought them in, and in fact, I actually got a chance to meet a lot of the different groups that were competing, and they said, this is the best venue we've ever been at. In fact, they were down in Fort Lauderdale all the time, and they loved us best. Is that our beach, our access, and how we treated them was the best ever. So that was really good. So hopefully, we've gotten a national exposure for the last couple of weeks on, they're showing it in rebroadcasting, so that was pretty cool. Yay to our tree lighting. Thank you, Santa, Santa Claus. Andy Claus. I'm heading to the U.S. Conference of Mayors in January. I haven't been there in a couple of years. This conference is going to be a really good one. I'm going to have my itinerary online for you guys, so you can see the different lectures and pieces that I go to. I think that would be a good part of upcoming trips. I haven't been on them in a while, but this one is going to be really good. I will be up there for the inauguration, which should be interesting. I've never been to an inauguration before. It's always at that same time. Every single year. I got to meet, the last time we were up there, it was President Obama. I actually got to meet the president and actually met with Transportation Secretary Anthony Fox about some needs and was able to talk infrastructure. There I go, you know, my stupid infrastructure. I'm so boring. All right, what else do we have? Oh, the very big important thing that I want to end on is, I mentioned this before, I said I was going to get you information because you asked me about it, and then I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to jinx it. It is official, as of yesterday's Metropolitan Planning Organization meeting. We got $3 million for the Boutwell Road project in the Park of Commerce, committed and voted for unanimously by the MPO board, and has been approved for that project, and it is on the 5-year plan. So remember when we were looking for matching funds from the state? First they said we had to be on the long-range plan, then we got on the long-range plan, they said no, we got to be on the 5-year plan. We weren't on the 5-year plan, you remember the story. All right, well we're on the 5-year plan and we're funded in the 5-year plan, which has been approved by the MPO. So that just happened yesterday, so that was a big deal. It's only been 5 years. But anyway, that's it. Thank you all very much, I appreciate it.